Trans Am Racing Series on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Pirelli. Power is nothing without control. By Big Machine Vodka Spiked Coolers. Good times deserve better. By Franklin Road Apparel Company. Your fast track to fashion. And by Lion Companies, the national leader in commercial real estate services.
Welcome to the Trans Am Series presented by Pirelli for our review of the 2021 season. We're here at the final round at the Circuit of the Americas, and it really has been an incredible season with record fields, new stars in the making, some familiar faces winning, but some great racing all through the season. And it all began back in February at Sebring in Florida. Start of the Trans Am season for 2021, TA2, and a full field here at Sebring for the 16th time in the history of Trans Am. Thomas Merrill on the right-hand side gets away well, but Rafa Matos in the all-yellow 88 gets a better start. Misha Goikerberg on the inside, likewise Legacy Jr. and last year's champion and winner here at Sebring. In the white is Mike Skeen. Everybody jostling for position. A little touch there to Matos. Merrill in trouble, and Merrill gets spun round after touching Matos and Legacy. And ironically, that's the same corner that Merrill went off on the last lap here last year as he was about to win, and he's at the back again. He rejoins in, 23rd position with a lot of work to do. But Rafa Matos and Misha Goikerberg out front with Mike Skeen on board now in third place as Rafa Matos, the 2018 champion in the number 88 yellow car, goes into the lead, and here comes Mike Skeen. It's going to be a drag race down the back straight between Skeen and Misha Goikerberg. Here they come into Sunset, and Skeen's got the better line on the inside, and he's going to take the number 10 and take second place. Here he comes, and does so. And now he goes in pursuit of Rafa Matos. Great start to this, but it's all slowed down by a full caution at turn 7, Jim Gallagher spinning round, and another caution on lap 24 at Bishop when Mosak went off, and a restart now with Rafa Matos leading, but for how long? Merrill has gone all the way through and is now in contention. Skeen on the inside in the Liqui Moly all white, but it's Rafa Matos in the yellow, number 88, that leads them through. To the outside goes Merrill. An unbelievable run by Thomas Merrill in the Ford Mustang to get back into contention. Tommy Sheehan going past Peterson. Skeen isn't done, and nor is Merrill. Merrill coming alongside Skeen and looking for second place. Surely not. He goes onto the dirt. They're side by side. This is a fabulous way to start the season as we go back on board with Mike Skeen. And Thomas Merrill nosing ahead. Skeen tries to defend. It's a right-hander next. He might just keep his nose in there, and he tries to, and he does keep Merrill at bay for now. Back into second goes Skeen. Matos going off into the distance now. This the penultimate lap. Michael Self just behind, waiting to pick up the pieces if it all goes wrong for the front three. Back on board with third place Mike Skeen. Winner here last year and the current champion. And they're getting very close again. And Rafa Matos doing everything he can to defend, but here comes Thomas Merrill. These two side by side, and Skeen ready to go as well. And into the lead again goes Merrill. An unbelievable way to win this race if he could do it. This the final lap. Rafa on the outside, Merrill on the inside. They're neck and neck. Surely not. Rafa Matos goes wide slightly, and Merrill keeps it tight and tucks it in, and surely not. He's going to take victory. A superb way to start the 2021 season. Thomas Merrill wins in the Ford Mustang ahead of Rafa Matos in second place and Mike Skeen in third, Michael Self in fourth place.
Rafa, what would you say to someone like yourself who's done single-seaters, done karts, done stock car racing in Brazil, done everything? What makes TA2 special?
You know, since the first time I drove this car, I felt in love with the car. The way the car feels, it's very raw. You know, it's old school, but in the same time, the car performs extremely well. The car has incredible brake system. It stops really well, and it's pure mechanical grip. So it's really up to the driver to make the difference.
The Trans Am Racing Series on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Pirelli. Power is nothing without control. By Big Machine Vodka Spiked Coolers. Good times deserve better. By Franklin Road Apparel Company. Your fast track to fashion. And by Lion Companies, the national leader in commercial real estate services.
They're neck and neck. Back goes Merrill. Skeet's coming, but Merrill's going to take the win.
Well, Mike Cope Racing always brings a strong stable of cars to each and every Trans Am series, but they really laid down a marker with Thomas Merrill at Sebring with that brilliant win to start off the season. Next up, Road Atlanta.
High above for the start of the TA2 race, 2x2 here at Road Atlanta. Wet conditions earlier in the day, but drying now as Sam Mayer in pole position on the left-hand side tries to get away well, but it's Franklin Futrell from Evans, Georgia in the Ford Mustang who gets the better start. Good start from Merrill, also on the outside in third, and just behind last year's winner and current champion, Mike Skeen. But everything slowed down on lap 10 when Michael Self hit the wall heavily at 1, and in fact they had to red flag this race for a while. But at the restart, it was once again the battle between Futrell and Mayer, with in third place Thomas Merrill, winner of Sebring, and Rafa Matos in the all-yellow. Futrell, though, doesn't get the best of the restarts, and Mayer hits the front. Although they're neck and neck as they go to the crest. Merrill waiting for something to happen. Mike Skeen, last year's winner and the current champion, also in the mix. Then into turn 1, Rafa Matos gets tangled with Doug Winston, and they both get spun round. That would bring out another caution and put Matos out of contention. So at the restart, Sam Mayer getting away well. Futrell still second. Futrell, a former instructor here at Road Atlanta, got a third place here last year, so knows the track so well. And last year's winner, Mike Skeen, getting in real trouble, getting sideways there, losing the grip, and through comes Scott Lagacy Jr. There he is on the right-hand side, coming back down the hill as these two went head-to-head all the way down the S's. Great racing between these two very experienced drivers, but Lagacy Jr. finally getting through on Mike Skeen. But here comes Mayer at the bottom of 10, the classic overtake at Road Atlanta to take the lead away from Futrell. But Futrell wasn't done just yet, and back he came. And as the race continued, Franklin Futrell of Evans, Georgia, increased his lead, and the battle was on for the podium. Thomas Merrill, winner of the first round and vying to take the lead in the championship, hounded Mayer all the way to the line, but no one could stop Franklin Futrell as he takes his first career win in TA2 to start his season in style for 2021. Mayer takes second place, and Thomas Merrill, California, is third.
I've been dreaming about this since I was 15 years old, man. This one means a lot to me.
And this is how the points look. Thomas Merrill with 59, ahead of Franklin Futrell with 55. Rafa Matos in third place with 49 too, ahead of Mike Skeen. And from the East Coast next, we head to the West Coast, to the Monterey Peninsula and the famous Laguna Seca circuit in California. Start of the TA2 race from Laguna Seca, round 3, 2x2 at the start. And on the inside, Mike Skeen and Rafa Matos, but Merrill, the local man from Salinas, California, goes out the inside, and it's a three-way battle into the lead at the start. Self also in there in the number 7, and he gets up a place past Rafa Matos, but it's Merrill who leads. Connor Mosack in the battle as well for the Scott Lagacy team, as was the number 8 Sam Mayer. The two youngsters going very well as we go on board with Connor Mosack. High above this Laguna Seca circuit, Rafa Matos makes his move on Mike Skeen at the final corner, and a lovely move it was. But then trouble for a local girl, Michelle Abate, coming together with another competitor and going out. That brought out the safety car, and at the restart, Thomas Merrill would lead the field from Rafa Matos. Skeen in third place, and now Connor Mosack right there with him, challenging into turn 1 in the 28 as we go on board with him, and he can't quite pull it off. He's side by side with Mike Skeen. Meanwhile, Texas's Edward Savagian just behind the green and white of North Carolina's Michael Self in the Chevrolet Camaro. But then drama at the corkscrew as, missing his braking point, Connor Mosack goes straight on at the corkscrew and through the corkscrew and somehow survives through the gravel. And Matos does it again, another textbook overtake for the lead this time. And Rafa Matos, the 2018 champion, takes the lead in California. Coming into this race, Thomas Merrill led the championship, Rafa Matos in third and Mike Skeen fourth. So a very important race if Rafa Matos is going to get on level terms as we go on board with third place Skeen. But then drama in the pits as Rafa Matos' teammate Doug Peterson comes in for repairs, as does this man, Connor Mosack. And Mosack sixth in the championship. And that little run through the gravel at the corkscrew has ended with a pit stop. And another off here, this time his teammate, Sam Mayer, the youngster, going off. And in the closing stages, Rafa Matos leading from Mike Skeen. And try as he might, Skeen couldn't get close enough to Rafa Matos. Thomas Merrill still running in third place. And as the white flag came out for the final lap, it was all Rafa Matos. A perfect run by the man from Brazil, the 2018 champion, making some great overtakes at the last corner. And try as he might, Mike Skeen just couldn't reel him in. And it was going to be an important victory for Rafa Matos to close the gap in the championship after 3 rounds. Rafa Matos then coming out of the last turn to see the checkered flag. Mike Skeen in the Chevrolet Camaro behind that Ford Mustang of Rafa Matos. And then Thomas Merrill in the Ford Mustang takes third.
Oh my goodness, what a race. And I know that this one means a lot to you, and I don't know if you've seen it, but your car came in smoking. How in the world did you do it?
Man, I don't know. In the last 5 laps, the water temperature started rising and the oil temperature got to 385. Water temp was 250 and I was losing power, and I saw Mike Skeen catching me, and I just put my head down, and I never won a race here in Laguna Seca. This place is beautiful. I love California.
A decisive weekend then for Rafa Matos as he moves to second place, just 3 points behind Thomas Merrill. Mike Skeen now third on 77. Franklin Frutrell moves down to 4th place. So the championship hotting up nicely as we zigzag across the country. Next up, it's Lime Rock. Join us after the break.
The Laguna Seca race would mark Rafa Matos and the Peterson Racing's team's first win of 2021, and from there on in, they didn't look back. Next up was a rather wet and soggy Lime Rock.
After heavy rain in practice and qualifying, conditions were perfect for the TA2 race at Lime Rock. And leading them away, Mike Skeen on the left-hand side in pole position. Rafa Matos, though, competing for the corner at turn 1. Matos, though, held off by Skeen, who holds on to go round Big Ben and hold the lead. Connor Mosack slotting in to 3rd place. But there was drama behind as Scott Borchetta went off track and into the very wet grass, causing a caution, and Skeen would have to lead them across the line again. Matos still in second, and Mosack holding off his teammate in 3rd place. But then Thomas Merrill spins round, and also avoiding action, Edward Savagian of Dallas, Texas. Those two very competitive over the weekend, but both out of contention. And while Matos was challenging for the lead, his teammate Doug Peterson was hit from behind, and off into the grass went the 87, another caution, and Skeen would have to build again, and Matos likewise. Here's Matos on Maurice Hull down the front straight, but then trouble for Edward Savajian. A puncture left front causes him to go off track. Luckily, he was able to find a safe space to stop. And the drama continued as more cautions would come, despite the fact that Mike Skeen, the poleman, was building his lead here at the very tight Lime Rock track. Traffic always an issue, and it would be again. Matos having to slow down for another safety car period and slot back in. And he waits for the safety car and does slot back in. And they would sort themselves out, and at the restart, more drama to come. Skeen going up against the number 34, Patrick Paul, but they come together, and the leader is taken out. In the final corner, big mistake. That's Keith Prochuk in trouble again with Patrick Paul. A second accident involving the 34. This time, Keith Prochuk would come off worse. Matos looking to get past Keith Prochuk at turn one, and they touch for a moment. Prochuk goes wide and onto the grass for a moment. Matos gets through, but another incident involving the number 9. Not a good weekend at Lime Rock for him. Skeen all over the back of Matos as he sides his way through, back into contention. And the traffic still a factor as they're coming down to the final 2 laps now. Dylan McAvern still in the hunt in 3rd place. Oh, now Matos in trouble as he goes onto the grass, taking avoiding action with Alex Wright, and loses the lead to Skeen and to McAvern, and drops from 1st to 3rd as they head on to the final lap. Disaster for Matos. He had to go to the grass to avoid hitting Alex Wright, and that lost him 2 places and gifted the lead to Mike Skeen. Mike Skeen then going on to the final lap and on to victory here at Lime Rock. McAvern will follow him home, and poor old Rafa Matos will have to settle for 3rd place. Confirmation of the result then. Great win for Mike Skeen over McAvern. Rafa Matos gets good points in 3rd place, but plenty of drama, as always, at Lime Rock. And overall, 112 points now for Rafa Matos as he hits the front by only 1 point, though, over Mike Skeen. Thomas Merrill still in the hunt on 107. So a 3-way battle for the title chase starting to hot up as we head next to Mid-Ohio for round 5. The rolling start of TA2 from Mid-Ohio sees poleman Rafa Matos in the 88 just hold on ahead of Tyler Casera in the 5. And then Matos' teammate Adam Andretti slotting into 3rd. Mike Skeen 1 point behind Matos in the championship and 4th on the road. Quickly at the keyhole, past Andretti and up to 3rd. Andretti just drafted into the team by Doug Peterson, doing a great job of supporting Matos, but Skeen was on a mission, quickly dispensing with Casera, and then he would go in pursuit of Rafa Matos, back with Andretti. How about this for a move on Casera at the keyhole to go back to 3rd place. Adam Andretti, of course, usually a TA driver, but now moving into TA2. Great battle with Skeen, wheel to wheel, and Andretti getting the better of Mike Skeen. And as they come into the carousel, Skeen in real trouble, left out on the outside. Mosak goes through, so does Michael Self. Skeen dropping long way back, and there was worse to come for Mike Skeen on lap 13. He would beach it in the gravel, a mechanical failure for the contender for the championship. Out goes the Liqui Moly man. So now Matos was leading from his teammate Andretti. Another restart, 3 in all. Mosak now in 3rd place. Casera still in touch. And Adrian Lostowski in the Hawk Performance Chevrolet Camaro moving up. But sadly, out went the spiked 48 of Scott Borchetta. Edward Savajian on his way to 6th place overall. Makes the move on Evan Pecor. And makes it stick. Great racing throughout the field here at Mid-Ohio. Back comes Pecor. And these two had a great ding-dong battle, but eventually it would be won by Savajian. Michael Self on turn 1, getting ahead of the 31 of Elias Anderson from Texas. Michael Self moving up the board, having a good season, and through goes the 51 of Darren Mott as well. Here comes Mosak on Andretti, but Andretti wasn't done just yet. Into turn 4, Andretti, how about this? An audacious move round the outside of 4 and into 5, and Andretti would not be denied by the youngster. Mosak having to settle for 3rd place. Rafa Matos takes the win. A 1-2 for the three-dimensional services as Adam Andretti takes 2nd place. Nice to have Adam on board, and immediately that was felt when you got a 1-2 at Mid-Ohio.
I mean, Adam is a great guy. He's a great character, fun guy to be around. He brings a lot of experience to the team. He's a team player. He is here to win. Also, he's very competitive. He's a very skilled driver, and I have no doubt that in the very short time he's going to be winning races and fighting for wins.
Skeen's there. He gives a little nudge to Andretti, and Andretti throws it back.
Almost 3 wide going into the carousel.
And this is how it looked after Mid-Ohio. Rafa Matos increasing his lead to 147 points. Skeen right there with him on 112. And Merrill still in the hunt on 107. And Connor Mosak starting to show on 94 points in 4th place.
The Trans Am Racing Series on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Pirelli. Power is nothing without control. By Big Machine Vodka Spiked Coolers. Good times deserve better. By Franklin Road Apparel Company. Your fast track to fashion. And by Lion Companies, the national leader in commercial real estate services.
Welcome back to our TA2 review of the 2021 season as we head next to the mighty Road America on Independence Weekend, July 4th. Who was going to take the laurels? Skeen and Mosak then locked horns along the 4-mile circuit as both battled to stay in 2nd, with Sam Mayer still leading the Camaro. Thomas Merrill, who started brightly and looked like he could get a top 10 finish, was soon dropping down the order. The car overheating and would eventually drop out completely. The battle for 4th raged on between Matos and Ty Gibbs, but it was soon curtailed when Gibbs of the number 16 Ford Mustang had to take a drive-through penalty for speeding in pit lane, allowing Matos through to 4th place. In the race home, it was still Mayer out front, with Mosak and Skeen still battling for 2nd, with Rafa Matos in 4th, making one last charge for the podium. And he got his opportunity when suddenly out of nowhere, Mosak goes off, spinning out, and brings out a local yellow. And that's how it finished. Sam Mayer getting his first win of the year, ahead of Mike Skeen and Rafa Matos, who are going head-to-head for the title. Scott Borchetta, an excellent 4th place ahead of Austin Dillon. Sam Mayer definitely one to watch for the future, and now winning in Trans Am. And overall, Rafa Matos increasing his lead to 172 points now over Mike Skeen on 143. Thomas Merrill in 3rd with 110. Connor Mosak is right there with 97. So a really cracking battle for the title chase as we head to round 7, north in Minnesota for the Jed Copham Memorial Weekend at Brainerd Circuit. The challenging circuit of Brainerd, Minnesota for round 7, a combined all-classes race, which would see in TA Ken Thwaites get away well at the start, side by side with Tommy Dreesy, with Chris Dyson just behind in the yellow and white number 20. Thwaites getting past Dreesy as they headed down towards turn 3, the first overtaking place, but Thwaites holding on, and Rafa Matos leading the way in TA2. On board with Adam Andretti. On board again now, this time with Lostowski, just missing Matos, as Matos came into contact with Michael Self and spun out, but would get back on track. How about this for some drama? Adam Andretti goes off track and almost ends up on the drag strip. Incredible stuff, damage to Ski, but Rafa Matos coming back after an incident himself with contact. And Rafa Matos scything his way through the field, but another off. This time it's Chris Dyson going off, and that allowed Francis to run away with it. Ski now in pursuit of Rafa Matos. Damage to the bodywork, but still going strong. Skeen going on to take 2nd place. as Rafa Matos continued to side his way through up ahead. Merrill leading now, Matos in second. But Matos, after dropping back, was in determined mood, and the championship leader made his move on the 81 Mike Cope car to take the lead. And once in the lead, Matos wasn't in the mood to finish second. Matos taking that lead away from Merrill, leaving Merrill to fight with Mike Skeen, who was catching both of them as they scrapped. Then it became a three-way battle. Merrill and Skeen side by side. Merrill losing out this time, and Skeen going into second place into the Cloverleaf. Three-dimensional services, the 2018 champion. He's done Doug Peterson proud over the years. It's been a cracking race. It's had everything. Sadly, Thomas Merrill, who led early on, was out of the car with brake issues, and that ended his day. And Rafa Matos will win. Here he comes in TA2 in the 88. So Rafa Matos then with the win over Mike Skeen. Tyler Casera gets his first podium for the Silver Hair Racing Chevrolet Camaro, and Connor Mosack is in fourth position.
We got taken out in one of the restarts, and I fell back to fourth. I thought the car was done, the car was broken, and just the race came our way. We ended up winning that race.
Rafa Matos on great form and now moves to 207 points. Mike Skeen losing a little bit of the impetus now with 173, and Merrill still there in third. Next up, it's the Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers presents the Franklin Road Classic from Nashville.
One new addition to the 2021 calendar was Nashville Music City Grand Prix.
They called it the Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers presents the Franklin Road Classic at Nashville. One man on song in Music City, Mike Skeen. The first ever race around the streets of Nashville for Trans Am. The Big Machine Spike Coolers presents the Franklin Road Classic, and Mike Skeen in a Camaro and Connor Mosack likewise went head-to-head at the start. Just squeezing into the lead goes Skeen. Mosack second, and Adam Andretti, who we're on board with now, already putting the pressure on in third place. All eyes would be on the championship leader right in the middle of the shot there, starting 18th. That's Rafa Matos from Brazil. He would have to scythe his way through, just as Thomas Merrill would do. Very tight indeed here on this street course, but Merrill going through on Andretti. And bit by bit, Rafa Matos would make his way through over the Cumberland Bridge one more time, into turn 9, past the Drone Works Camaro of Justin Oakes. Another place made up by the championship leader, Rafa Matos. With these muscle cars, there was bound to be incident. Justin Marks in the 99, hitting the wall heavily, but able to continue, and he would go on to finish 6th place. Over the Cumberland River again, and now Connor Mosack in a chance to go for the lead into 9, but Skeen in the Liqui Moly car on the inside just holds off the number 28 and holds on to the lead. And this would be Connor Mosack's opportunity, and eventually at 9 again, he would take it. On the inside, nice and clean, and into the lead he went. Mike Skeen then having to settle on lap 16 for second place. A four-way battle through the traffic. Doug Peterson getting out of the way because he had a mechanical which led him to stop before being hit by Boris Said from behind. But the safety car would come out again and another restart. But by now, Matos was in the top 6. So Connor Mosack led the restart from Skeen. Merrill still third, then Andretti. And you can see Rafa Matos already up to 5th place as they go into turn 9 again. But Mosack a little hot into 9 and loses out. Goes wide and loses 3 places. Skeen into the lead, Merrill second, and now Andretti third. More drama just behind as Edward Savagian gets turned around. And Justin Marks involved in that incident as well. Savagian able to keep going. 30 laps gone, and Skeen, the pole man, on his way. But Matos wasn't done. Challenging first Merrill, and then getting right behind his teammate Andretti, who was having a phenomenal race. Merrill too, he'd never done a street race. Going head-to-head with Adam Andretti over the bridge one more time. Andretti just holding him off. Great ding-dong battle, and he'd lose his door, look at that. So plenty of air conditioning that wasn't planned. And try as he might, Matos was in contention for most of the race, getting up in the end to 7th place and saving some healthy points. His teammate, having such a good run in the 86, Adam Andretti, though, would fall foul to a mechanical. A belt goes, and he is out of the race, and that gifted the lead back to Mike Skeen. That's how they would finish. A brilliant run from the Liqui Moly Camaro of Mike Skeen to win the first ever street race in Nashville, taking the checkered flag ahead of Thomas Merrill, Connor Mosack. A great run with Justin Marks in 4th place.
Just so happy to have a nice clean race, you know, not too much yellow, and lots of battling at the front, lots of lead changes. Glad to keep it up there, keep it clean, and be able to come through at the end for Liqui Moly and Stevens Miller Racing.
A massive weekend then for Mike Skeen as he closes the gap on Rafa Matos, who has 2:26 to Skeen's 2:08. Merrill still 3rd with 1:51. And Mike Skeen will come out of the last corner and take the checkered flag here in Nashville.
It seems like this year's almost 2 halves. The beginning was not a struggle, but it wasn't exactly as you wanted. And then the second half, really good.
Yeah, I felt like Sebring, obviously, I thought we had it covered. We had a power steering failure, and that, you know, ruined our race. We finished on the podium, but that was for sure a guaranteed win. The car was really good. The same thing happened in Nashville after starting from the back. You know, we climbed it all the way to 2nd place, fighting for the win with Mike. And again, we had another power steering problem until we finally, you know, switched the part, and we haven't had any failures since then. So I think those 2 races were like heartbroken for us.
Well, one way to mend a broken heart is head to the most iconic circuit of all, Watkins Glen in New York. A massive crowd for the weekend, and also added fun, a double-header for Trans Am. An all-classes field at Watkins Glen of over 40 cars, led by TA, dives into turn 1, and it's Ernie Francis Jr. who takes the whole shot ahead of championship leader Chris Dyson. Chris Dyson's teammate this weekend, Guy Smith, coming in, getting his 2nd run at Trans Am, trying to help, if he can, Chris Dyson to the championship. A lot of traffic as the number 9, Keith Prochuk, would find out. Lots of fighting going on. Here come the 3-dimensional services cars, all 3 of them involved in the battle. Rafa Matos obviously leading the championship. Already drama as we get to a full course yellow, and that'll slow things down again, but gives us a chance as we go on board with the Brazilian and championship leader Rafa Matos. Great battle. Skeen, who took the pole ahead of Rafa Matos, the championship leader. Skeen wants every point he can get ahead of Matos. And in TA2, Mike Skeen dropped down to 3rd place, and Rafa Matos picks up the lead. On board with Matos' teammate, Adam Andretti. A spin for the 48 of Scott Borchetta, but he gets going again. Then an incident involving Doug Peterson. Coming through on the inside, making a move. Les Lostowski again all over Sheehan. Good battle between these 2 locals. And the back of that car not looking too handy, but it's not bothering him.
But look at this battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th place there.
Yeah, Connor Mosack's in the middle of it, and he has got some, well, he's got some unfinished business. He should have won Nashville. He made a mistake. That's Al Prieto of Clearwater, Florida, going around there in the Mustang. Rafa Matos does hold off Merrill. Merrill does hold off Mike Skeen. And disappointment for the championship leader, Mike Skeen, or championship contender, I should say. But that was an immaculate performance once again from Rafa Matos. For the 2nd of the doubleheader at Watkins Glen, it was an all-classes field led by TA, Ernie Francis Jr. in the 98, getting ahead of Chris Dyson, the championship leader. Guy Smith on the outside in the blue and white, and on the inside, Tommy Dreesy challenging early on. In TA2, it was Conor Mosak, the 21-year-old, leading the way from Misha Goikerberg. Rafa Matos behind him, and then Adam Andretti as well in the mix, teammate to Rafa Matos as he tries to help Matos take another title. And since he joined the team at Mid-Ohio, he's been consistently in the points, helping Matos, currently in third at the moment. Misha Goikerberg challenging Conor Mosak, but Mosak got it under control. Rafa Matos, though, not afraid, the championship leader, to bang panels with Misha Goikerberg and knocks him out the way. Oh no, and another major incident. Mike Skeen, Misha Goikerberg and Thomas Merrill all involved. Eric Joyner trying to get through. Andretti does get through. Matos gets through. But there is mayhem ensuing as Misha Goikerberg, not sure who caused that, but you could guess that Misha Goikerberg could well be the cause of that, or Mike Skeen, because he was trying to get past Misha. Well, here we go, the restart. Now, look in the back of your picture now. Mosak is through cleanly, but I think Tyler Casera gets into the back of Skeen. Misha Goikerberg takes avoiding action. Another historical moment for the 28, Conor Mosak, the 21-year-old, leading the field and taking his first Trans Am victory ahead of Tyler Casera in second and Rafa Matos in third. Great win for the youngster Conor Mosak ahead of Tyler Casera. Rafa Matos gets important points in third and Andretti is fourth.
It feels amazing. My guys at Team SLR gave me a great car. I think we had the best car all weekend. It's really just a big relief off my shoulders, to finally get this first win. I feel like, there's more to come the rest of the year.
40 points, the gap now between Rafa Matos and Mike Skeen, but it's far from over. Conor Mosak now moving up to third place and demoting Thomas Merrill to fourth. Next up, Virginia International Raceway. Join us after the break.
All throughout the 2021 season, everybody knew that Scott Lagasse Jr.'s protege, Conor Mosak, in the 28 TA2 car would come good. He was close so many times, but finally he did it in style at Watkins Glen, his first Trans Am win, and I'm sure one of many more to come. Next up, VIR.
The big surprise at the start of the VAR TA2 race was the pole man. Coming from nowhere, the 16-year-old youngster Connor Zilic ahead of Rafa Matos. Matos tried to challenge in the first corner but couldn't do it. Rafa going for the title. Zilic just making a name for himself. The youngest ever pole position winner in the history of Trans Am. Rafa will chase him down, Skeen behind him, and then the rest of the field will file in into the horseshoe for the second time. Tyler Casera, who got a win here at VAR last year, tries to challenge for third place on Mike Skeen, but Skeen holds him off for now. Meanwhile, Matos down the back straight, his first real chance to have a go at Zilic, gets the slipstream, and the 2018 champion gets alongside and past the youngster. Great stuff from Rafa Matos, and once in the lead, he would start to pull away. So early on, it was Rafa Matos from Zilic, Skeen in third place, and just behind Tyler Casera, and behind him, Thomas Merrill from Salinas, California. So a good group. And just behind them, Conor Mosak making an appearance in this lead group. But as you can see from these overhead shots, already Rafa Matos, as they head towards roller coaster again, starting to pull away from the chasing group. Sadly for Connor Zilic, the pole man going backwards, a burnt spark plug the problem, and there was problems also for Tyler Casera at NASCAR as he goes off into the dirt. He would recover, but he lost that lead group then. Here's another look at it in slow-mo, just locks up the front. Through goes Merrill, through goes Mosak and Zilic. Michael Self, the next one to go through. Skeen now in second place. Merrill in third. Zilic into the pits, trying to sort that spark plug out, but he would spend a lot of time there and would get back out, but finish eventually in 22nd at the restart. Once again, Rafa Matos would lead from Mike Skeen. Behind him was Thomas Merrill. Good battle for third place between Connor Mosack and Merrill. And then Mosack makes his move on Skeen, and a nice clean one as well, just on the exit of Snake. But out front, it was all Rafa Matos, heading for his second title. He won the title for the three-dimensional services team back in 2018, and here at VIR, he does it all again in 2021. A magnificent Mustang display by Rafa Matos, who is the new champion of 2021 TA2. An amazing weekend once again for Rafa Matos over Thomas Merrill, Mike Skeen in third, but that wouldn't be enough. Andretti in fourth place ahead of Scott Borchetta in fifth. Woo! And overall, you can see why he's elated. 322 and the championship, putting it beyond Mike Skeen's hopes. He's on 274 with 1 round to go. Connor Mosack holds on to third.
Winning the championship VIR, like you say, he did it there before, but they threw a little bit of a ringer in. This 16-year-old out of nowhere got pole position, and I could see at the start you were like, I got to get past this guy quick.
Yeah, I follow Connor's English career in go-kart, and I know he's, in my opinion, he's one of the best in the United States right now in karting, and obviously it was his first time racing that type of car, so everything was new for him. But I thought we had a very strong car for the race, and I just took my time and studied him a little bit and overtook him. And that race, I believe, was probably the easiest race for us this whole year, because we really had a car that was dominant there.
We head to the final round of the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. A record-breaking 52 cars, an all-time record for the class for the finale. After an excellent start from pole, Rafa Matos held off the chasing pack led by Misha Goikerberg into turns 1 and 2. But a safety car briefly held up his progress 2 laps into the race, with several cars needing assistance, including the number 98, Doug Winston, who went up in flames. When they went green again 7 laps later, Matos powered ahead again, leaving Goikerberg leading a 5-way battle for second place. The race remained green with several cars, including Tom Sheehan and Adam Andretti, going out with mechanical issues. Former champion Mike Skeen was making good progress from the back, getting all the way up to 12th place before having to retire with his own mechanical issue. Rafa Matos increased his lead as the laps ticked down. Connor Mosack made it up to 2nd place ahead of Goikerberg. And as the race reached the business end, Legacy Racing Cars Mosack was reeling in Rafa in the closing stages. But the result was never in doubt, as poleman Rafa Matos dominated the race from flag to flag to finish off his season in perfect style, a winner and a champion. Connor Mosack was 2nd, Misha Goikerberg 3rd.
This dominant victory is definitely something very special for us. We won a bet. We want to finish the season with a win, and I couldn't be more proud of my team.
So a fitting end to the 2021 season. Perfect weather, the iconic Circuit of the Americas track, and a performance to match it by Rafa Matos, who not only takes his 2nd title in TA2, but also the last win of the year. We'll be back next year in 2022 when you can see all the highlights of TA2 on CBS Sports Network. Until then, from me, Jonathan Green, goodbye for now.